Are we recording?
Oh yeah, of course we're recording.
Okay. You know, I wanted to tell you something.
Okay, hit me, Tony.
I'm gonna hit you
Okay.
with it. I saw Pinocchio last night.
You saw what? Sorry?
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. Okay, the new Walt Disney film.
No. Hell no.
Fuck that. Fuck Disney. Huh?
No, not fuck Disney. Maybe they'll sponsor a podcast at some point. Disney, if you're listening, sponsor us. I saw.
I love Disney. That
Yeah.
was a joke.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
I didn't know that he has done a Pinocchio. Is that like a horror Pinocchio?
You didn't know?
No. What kind of Pinocchio is that? Is that a horror Pinocchio? No.
Well, it is very much his Pinocchio. Let's get that clear.
Look at that.
So it is what you would expect.
When did it come out?
It came out a month ago, maybe. It's Netflix film.
Are you serious? Like,
Absolutely.
so wait a minute. So Disney, it was Disney who released Pinocchio
And also Netflix at the same fucking
at
time.
the same fucking time.
That is called twin films. So they are twin films.
That's crazy. I didn't know that anybody would do that.
And here's the thing.
I didn't know that it happens.
The Disney version, oh my god.
Is it so bad?
It's really bad. I hate shitting on movies. Really, I swear I do. I really don't like destroying movies with terrible comments. But that movie has no saving grace.
I can back you up with what you said, that you don't like shitting in movies. You're very understanding that it's an art form and you shouldn't.
I
speak bad
always
about it.
I always try to find something positive.
You're very
I really
respectful.
do.
I appreciate that. by the
Because
way.
even if it's bad, I know that chances are no one starts a movie with the thought of I'm gonna make a shitty movie, right? But this movie, Robert Zemeckis, Back to the Future.
Did he direct?
He directed it.
What the hell?
Tom Hanks
Yeah.
plays.
He's in there. As
He's
well?
in it. I'm not gonna say much. That's my personal opinion. I don't like shitting on movies, but that one let's say it wasn't for me. Okay,
Is it live action?
it is live action, and Pinocchio is CGI. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Fuck.
That was good.
It was great. It was fantastic. It
Okay,
was
so
really good.
Netflix won, Disney zero. in this case.
Maybe.
Disney has its Always Sun in Philadelphia, so.
But I wanted to bring it up because it is a stop motion. And
Netflix is.
yes,
okay,
Netflix is it's a stop motion. It's gorgeous to look at.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful. It's very, very, very good looking film. It's very well, stop motion is very difficult. But that's what I wanted to talk about because I checked out some of the behind the scenes. And have you actually seen a lot of stop motion movies?
There was a period where I was watching a lot of stop motion
Okay.
film because I got interested of the
Yeah.
art form.
It's just I don't think people realize how incredibly difficult and time consuming it is to make stop motion
I am
film.
I did 2 years ago. I did quite a lot. I did some stop motion films
You
myself as
did?
well to try it out. Yeah, because I got interested,
Okay.
involved in the art form. But yeah, please.
No. What did you do? Just a little scene, or did you?
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna show you one after this one. I think
Okay.
it's still in my Google Drive. But yeah, just I did like this. I bought some. I did like puppets myself.
Okay.
But it started with me being just like, because I work in front of computer
Yeah.
24/7, so I was like, I want to do something with my hands, and then I made these puppets, and I did those puppets so that I could do these stop motion films, which I did then try, and it's extremely time consuming. It's you need to be very skilled artist in so many ways to pull that
Yeah.
off.
How long did your final footage end up being?
Maybe 20 seconds.
20 seconds. And how long did it take you to make
Oh,
those?
years.
3 years.
It felt like years.
No, but for real.
It easily took a whole day to actually
Yeah.
put it together. And it doesn't even look good. Just like when you were at home, obviously you need to have a good studio to do that. But when you're at home, you have a window open, you just start to take pictures, and then the light
Every little
outside,
change
light changes a little bit in outside, and you don't even see it in your bare
and fucks it
eye.
up.
It fucks it up. I mean, like, it doesn't, yeah, you can
Yeah.
see it, the difference.
It's not just that the stop motion itself is difficult, which it is, right? But
Which it is.
those artists are able to make the motion so smooth and realistic
Yeah.
looking. Like,
Yeah.
they would have a bed sheet, and that bed sheet would look like a
Mhm.
real bed sheet, and it's like, how the fuck do you even do that?
Yeah.
It is incredible.
It's
And just
crazy.
looking at just everyone check out behind the scenes of a stop motion film. It
Yeah.
is mind blowing.
Yeah, you can see that when they do those time lapse.
Yeah.
Them, that's
So you
how it
see the
looks good.
character
Yeah.
moving in real
Yeah.
time, but
And
then the animator is like sped up like 100x.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like the character is moving very slowly, kind of, but the animator is going back and forth, like, going
Yeah.
through
They always wear headphones because I think that's the only thing you'd keep you sane. Just
Yeah.
listening to No Marks on the Floor or something. No.
I don't think that would help you keep it sane.
That'll make the stop motion worse.
Yeah, for sure.
But the movie, a beautiful film.
Okay.
It's very, very nice. It's very
Toni.
interesting reimagining of the story.
If you would be a film, you'd be a good-looking film. I got more of those where they came from.
Please keep them coming.
Let's just cut that.
No. I'm not cutting that.
Oh, not the compliment, but yeah. Anyway.
So it's actually pretty interesting how they came out at the same time, the two Pinocchios.
Yeah.
One is, let's say, not for me. The other is very much for me. And
I read that there is the Cutthroat Island that
mhm.
Rennie Harlin made in 90s. I think it was 90s.
Okay.
Rennie Harlin is, yeah. Do you know the director? I think it's the only Finnish director who has ever made like Hollywood films, blockbuster films. He made
Okay.
Die Hard.
He did Die Hard?
Yeah.
Die Hard is from a Finnish director?
Yeah. One of them. I think it was second one.
Oh, fuck.
I think it's the second one.
Didn't know that. Okay, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And he also was attached to do, this is going to blow your mind, Alien.
The first one.
No, I think it was the one that, was David Fincher who made? No, David Fincher didn't make.
Well, the second one is James Cameron.
Yeah.
And then...
Who's the third one?
okay, that one I cannot come
What
up with.
did David Fincher did one of the aliens? It sounds like very
Might be.
unlikely. I'm just
Let's
Googling.
have our producer check it out.
Yeah, okay,
real
the
quick.
producer check, because like it feels like David Fincher would never do an alien, but then I feel like I remember thinking that
We have our producer checking it.
yeah, the producer is checking out right now. So let's see, Aliens, the first one, James Cameron, right?
Aliens is the sequel, number 2, right? So there's Alien, then Aliens.
Hey, Alien 3, David Fincher.
Oh, wow.
So I think he was attached to do the third one.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of they had some disputes, he didn't agree with the where the film was going with the kind of art direction or whatnot. There was some disagreement.
Okay.
So then he signed off, and then David Fincher came along, and I think that's funny to think that actually.
So it could have been the Finnish director.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny because then he made the Cutthroat Island,
Mm-hmm.
and that in film history is the biggest box office bomb.
Really?
Yeah, in film history, and that's the kind of there's a word for that genre, like swashbuckler film, like with SWASH,
Swashbuckler.
which is meaning like parts of the Caribbean, so like swords.
Oh,
and,
with swords and stuff.
Swords fights.
I had
and whatnot.
never heard that.
No, yeah.
Swashbuckler film.
Yeah, it's a big genre that was yeah, and then once that film came out,
Did it kill the
Cutthroat,
genre?
it killed the whole fucking genre, and nobody made those films anymore until Pirates of the Caribbean came.
Yeah.
And once that came, I think the film producers and people in the industry realized that, okay, it's back on, let's keep it going. And then this goes on to the point of that films goes on trends, that whatever works at the time, then it's just like
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. And now I just started to watch Willow,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
very...
And of course, superhero movies, I think it's the
Right,
current
yeah, exactly.
genre. That's imagine you make a film that kills an entire trend.
Yeah, that's something.
But I'm gonna bring you back a little bit because you mentioned a little bit about twin films,
Mhm.
which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
And lucky you, I've done a bunch of research on it.
All right, bring it
For-
on, man.
Yeah, for one of the videos that I did. But twin films is actually fascinating because basically twin films, right, is two movies that came out at the same time, have the same plot, and pretty much a lot of similarities. Very obvious example right now, it's obviously Pinocchio.
Mhm.
It's the same story, two different studios. And sometimes it's a little bit less obvious. For example, Friends with Benefits and No Strings Attached.
Mhm.
It's pretty much the exact same movie.
Yeah, same title as well, right?
Pretty much, yeah. In the 90s, there was A Bug's Life and
Ants?
Ants, exactly. Those were also twin films, and the story for them actually goes a lot deeper. But yeah, basically that's twin films.
Okay, is that coincidence? Do you think?
Now that's the interesting part, right? There's a few different reasons why twin films might happen. One is Ville is trying his best to move. So the one reason is, yes, genuine coincidence. It is possible. And part of why this might become possible is because, as you say, there's trends in Hollywood. And it is very possible that, out of so many people, a few would get the same idea and kind of go for the obvious solution. So it's possible to be a coincidence, okay? But that is the less likely scenario. Where it gets interesting is that some shady company espionage strategies become more obvious in some other cases. Sometimes, a studio rejects a script, another studio buys it, but then they start developing their own based on that script they rejected. Sometimes people talk, oh, Disney's developing a film about this. Well, let's develop a movie about the same thing and get it a little bit earlier so we can capitalize on their hype.
Okay.
There's, sometimes the very executives are moving from one studio to another and bring some trade secrets with them. And a lot of things happen that result in twin movies.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I don't know why the two Pinocchios came out at the same time. It might be a coincidence. I know that Guillermo del Toro has been developing it for ages. So it's not like, last minute decision. But that's the interesting thing about them,
That is very interesting.
you know what, actually, in the 80s, I think, there was going to be two twin movies, and it was, again, the same thing. So the two studios actually found out while they were in pre-production that they're both developing the same film, essentially. So they combined their forces and made one film.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
And that movie
That's
ended
fucking
up being
awesome.
super successful.
Do you remember what film it was?
I don't, but I can find
That's
out.
super
I think
fucking
it was the highest grossing movie of that year.
Nice.
So basically they said, hey,
that's great.
yeah, why compete? It's the same movie anyway. So they
Yeah.
combined the best thing about their scripts, the best thing of that one, the stars,
Oh,
and
that's
this.
awesome.
So it ended up being one film. That's pretty fun.
Would it be possible for you to say briefly what made Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio great and why the Robert Zemeckis film was bad?
Yes. First of all, I'll try to keep this brief. I'll say that I really liked Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Actually, you don't even need to be brief. I don't know why.
Okay, well, it's a podcast, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I really liked it, but it is not entirely for me. Okay, just to make that clear, it will not be on my list of best movies ever or anything like that.
Right.
But I recognize it is very well made,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just beautiful, well-written film. What I really liked about it was the artistry. So, physically, the stop motion, the character design, and everything was fantastic.
Right.
It was just very well written, and it was just sweet. It was a well-made film.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things that I thought didn't totally work for me. Maybe the songs I didn't like as much, or maybe it dragged a little bit in the middle. But I'm not gonna pretend I'm this film critic who's going to say too much about that. But it was a good film.
Was it musical?
Well, it's basically a music break every now and then when the
Okay.
characters sing.
Mm.
It was actually a pretty funny inside joke that one character, he would always try to sing and they would always interrupt him right when he starts. But yeah, overall, nice film. I liked it. The other Pinocchio, the Disney version, I don't want to say too much. It's just, it felt like a movie that they kind of just did for the sake of it. I didn't see any heart in the film. It was a very close remake to their animated one.
Mm.
I didn't see any passion for this movie from the people involved or any heart. Not for me. Not for me.
Was it released in film theaters? Do you know?
I don't think so. I think it went directly to Disney Plus,
Okay.
but it might.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. But yeah, I mean, one is very good, I think, and the other not as good. But everyone can make their own mind, right?
No.
No, listen to us.
Whatever we say goes.
But honestly, I feel very uncomfortable criticizing films. I
Me
really
too.
do.
Yeah, me too, me too. I felt it's funny because I just started to watch Willow. Do you know the film with Willow?
Yeah.
90s or yeah, probably early 90s. It's this small. It's been a few years now since last time I saw it, but it's the small village. It's kind of like yeah, back in the olden days, like based in kind of like the Game of Thrones kind of era.
Mm-hmm.
That is not really specific, I think.
Kind of medieval.
Yeah,
vibe.
kind of that kind of vibes. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. And then there's this little village, and the only people living in that specific village are little people. And our hero of the story, he's little people as well. And then he finds this little baby in the river that he takes, and the baby is I think she was an offspring of some specific queen or something. I don't remember exactly. But the point being is that there is this evil queen who tries to kill that baby because if she doesn't, then the baby is predicted to destroy her, the evil queen.
Oh,
So
that
she
sounds
needs to kill the
very
baby.
familiar. Yeah.
Destroy the baby. So yeah, anyway, these little people then take off the baby, and then they decide in the village who is to try to find the rightful parents
Yeah.
of this baby, and then our hero goes on this journey to deliver the baby to the
Okay.
right place. And that's a great film. I love that. Obviously there's attached a lot of emotions and feelings because I have seen it when I was a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
They made a series of it now with a lot of the same actors as well in
Oh,
Disney.
that's cool. With
In
the same
Disney.
actor. And it's new series.
It's a completely new series, completely everything is new,
Yeah.
just based on that film. I started to watch that and I was like, oh goddamn! I only watched like 5 minutes. I couldn't watch it more, and I was like, I would like to talk about this with you, but just on the point what you were saying that you feel very uncomfortable about shitting on films. That's why I was like, I kind of would like to speak about this with you, but on the other one, I don't because I have nothing good to say about. I even quit watching after first 5 minutes.
Wow, that's actually. Is it very difficult for a movie to make you just basically rage quit? Does that happen often to you?
When I rage quit.
Yeah, it's just be like, fuck it,
Fuck it.
just
Yeah.
throw the. Yeah, it happens.
Well, not a lot,
No.
but
Yeah.
it happens, yeah, every now and then.
You know, yeah, because that's what I also do as well. Sometimes it might be kind of shitty movie, but I'm like, I'll still watch it just to at least.
But you still hang in there.
Exactly, because two reasons. One, sometimes it's so bad that it's kind of good and entertaining to watch how bad it is. But sometimes it's almost like a learning opportunity. I want to see why is it not working. Maybe try to analyze it.
Yeah.
There's only one movie, one
What is that? That you can watch?
ever that I couldn't finish.
What is that?
One movie in the entire history of me watching movies.
What is that?
The Emoji Movie.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, that was the one movie I could not bring myself to finish.
I have never seen it. Just based on the title, I could see it being a film that it. I don't know. What was it so bad with it?
I don't even know where to begin. I could not finish it. I think that I was watching it with Christina and I think she fell asleep and I was like, okay, nah, it's not happening. But I want to talk a little bit more about this, us feeling uncomfortable to shit on movies, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't know. I feel a little bit split because I certainly do feel uncomfortable. Well, from one side, right, if you are reading film reviews or if there's a very respectable film critic, which is not us, but someone is very respectable film critic, I feel like he's a respectable film critic because he would tell when he doesn't enjoy a film, right? So it's almost like he's hard to impress, but when he's impressed, it's a big deal. If we're constantly maybe never being unimpressed, maybe it would be like, oh, those guys don't have an opinion. They don't like anything. They like everything. I don't know. Do you feel like that? Because I sometimes do want to be honest and say, hey, I fucking hated this, but
Yeah.
it's so uncomfortable for me.
Specifically, I feel like amongst your friends, it's definitely. I think it's very important to say how you actually feel. And if it's just you and me, I very much would say how I exactly feel. Because then you don't need to be careful with your words. The other person knows you, and then you can say whatever, and the other person can read between the lines that what do I actually mean? Because sometimes you can be very outspokenly righteous about how bad the film was, even though it wasn't actually that bad. But it's funny to just sometimes exaggerate, you know? But doing that publicly, that's why I feel uncomfortable doing it publicly, because you kind of don't want to do it publicly for that reason. Because
we don't really want to be negative.
Yeah, and specifically because people cannot understand what parts of the, things that you say you actually mean, and what parts of the things are just exaggerated versions to make it funnier.
Yeah,
exactly. Because between the friends, it's funny to shit on things, even though you don't actually hate things that you shit on. And you know what I mean, right?
I completely agree with you. I think that's something that also maybe makes me uncomfortable, is that I realize our shitty podcast is barely anyone listens to it, right? But I'm just cannot help but think, if there's ever a chance someone hears me shitting about their movie, I just don't like that.
Yeah, that's true. Especially if they actually have done it with passion and heart.
Exactly, and it's just stuff went wrong, and I don't know. It's just, it sucks, because I know that you have to be passionate to work in film. It's not an easy industry. It's not easy to make it. You have to love film.
Absolutely not. No, I 100% agree with you, and I understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah, but I guess that we make it clear that we always approach it with a constructive criticism, and we understand that this is completely subjective. It's just not for me.
Yeah, let's get that away. We always understand that it's always objective. I guess it becomes like, I feel like I'm more justified to shit on film when you get the feeling that it was not done with passion, not done with heart, and it's just something that they want, like, okay, this might make a lot of money, so let's just be done with it.
Yeah.
I think then it's justified to shit on it.
That's actually so interesting.
Sometimes it's more justified.
Yeah, I can never put my finger on this, but it's so interesting now that you mention it, that sometimes you can tell if a movie has a heart or it doesn't, if it's made with passion or not. But it's not really something quantifiable. It's not really something that you can black and white say it is or not. You just kind of feel it.
Gut feeling, yeah.
It's so interesting. I agree. Yeah. But sometimes you can see if they're just powering through it and do it for the sake of it.
Yeah. And if they've been like trying to follow, like, okay, this is trendy now, this is probably what sells, so let's add these aspects in this film. I think that's quite transparent sometimes, or at least maybe I'm reading too much into it.
And sometimes that can be a saving grace, because a movie might not be amazing, but you can tell it has a lot of heart. And it's like it's not perfect, but it's just good.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can tell the passion that went into it.
Absolutely. And I would actually say that Willow is one of those films.
The original or the show?
The original.
Okay, we don't want to talk about the show.
No, absolutely original. It's just, I don't know. There's something in it.
It's the heart. That's what we need.
That's what we need. But do you remember last week we spoke about writing, and I feel like I got this. Do you ever watch like film or TV series, and then you never seen it before, and then you start to watch it, and you're like, "What the fuck? I could even write this dialogue that these characters are having, and if I could write this, it means that it's probably
bad.
It is probably
bad writing stands out. Yes.
Yeah. And. I love how diplomatic you are.
I know, it's so hard.
Very nice way of.
Okay, I'll tell you this. There's in Tenet, Christopher Nolan. So see, this is me being uncomfortable. So that's why I'll say first, I love Christopher Nolan, and I love his movies.
Clear.
Yeah.
Throughout the episode.
I love what he's done for cinema. Tenet, not my favorite, but there's one moment in particular that is probably, I think, one of the worst written lines I've ever seen in a film.
Oh yeah? What's that?
Where I'll paraphrase, it's probably not exactly, but basically shit is going down, we need to save the world kind of situation. And one character says to another, everyone is going to die. And then she goes, even my son?
Is that?
Yeah. I don't know, it just felt so out of place, that little dangerous situation. And it's like, I don't even think we cared for her son at that point of the movie. I don't even know if we knew her son. And it's just, she goes like, oh yeah, okay, so the entire human civilization is gonna die, but what about my son? Even my son, right? It's just, it felt so strange. And I couldn't help but, like, I bursted out laughing so hard on that line. I literally
Oh,
think that
that's funny.
you'll probably find it on YouTube because it's
Yeah.
like a very, very standalone line from that movie. But in that
Everyone's
moment,
gonna-
you know, I thought, okay, wow,
Yeah.
that's some writing in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That didn't stand out for me, but you need to show it.
Yeah, I'll show you. But yeah, that's an
That's
example
funny.
of that. And let me wrap this up with saying, God damn, I love Christopher Nolan.
Tone loss. That's for sure. You do. Dead air.
There. Bye.
Bye.